Hey, Brian. Nice. Well, but you want to get silver this week. Steven coming in for third. Not so bad. Jordan, though, man, had he must have been first every week for 15, 20 weeks. So still a record to be broken. That's for sure.
I saved it.
Okay. All right. So yeah, give it. Yeah, it is a new one. I don't know if I wore this one already on the. So yeah, this is the. Here we go. Let's see if I can get you the whole view here.
My handwriting is
Do I look sleepy? Oh, yeah, it's been a long week, I guess. I might be a bit sleepy. All right, though. We'll get through it. All right. So yeah, I think we can kick things off. Let me just bring up my little cheat sheet here. Or else I'm just going to be talking to myself useless nonsense, which maybe is what I do anyway, but here we go. All right, guys. So if you haven't joined us here before, my name's Kevin Murcko. I'm CEO here at CoinMetro. This is This Week in Crypto. The show consists of 4 elements. First thing I do every week is a quick recap of market news, 10 pieces of market news that were curated based on correlating whatever. Curated 10 pieces of curated news that were put together by an elite Telegram group. Thanks, guys and gals, for that. I give about a 1-minute comment on each. If I get triggered by one of those news stories, which generally means it mentions Binance, it might take me 2 or 3 minutes, maybe even 4. But I try to keep myself as close to that 1-minute estimate as possible. After that, we move on to Kevin Explains Crypto. I'm given a word or a phrase. I explain what it means. Pretty easy. Number 3, live Q&A right here on YouTube. And then number 4 is Reddit questions. We have 1 Reddit question this week, so I'll probably get to that either before live questions or somewhere in the middle and make sure we get it answered. So without further ado, let's start with market news and move on. So number 1 on a list of 10, guys, Revolut sees 68% increase in number of users trading crypto amid coronavirus lockdown. Yeah, of course, I didn't read the article, but I'm going to see if they actually have some numbers behind that. You know, it's really easy to take any type of stats and just make them sound really good or really bad, completely out of context. Revolut observed its survey that the trading volume in March decreased, with values from 540 pounds to 230 pounds of crypto purchases per week. Is that per user? Hold on. The lockdown came in full effect. Revolut observed in its survey that the trading volume in March decreased, generally with values of crypto purchases per week. The trading surged. Okay, so I don't know if it's saying that trading surged by an increase of 68%, but it also mentions numbers of 540 pounds a week. So I don't think that's per user, because that would be amazing for them. I'm hoping that that's not a global figure. So I don't know. Anyway, percentage increase makes sense. People are locked down in their houses. They're trying new things. They probably have had Revolut for months, maybe even more than a year, 2 years, whatever. and they never even looked at that little crypto thing that's in there. But now they're sitting on their couch. They've already looked at every other app in their phone. And they've seen every episode of, Tiger King or whatever on Netflix. And, the popcorn's done. So let's see what's in the Revolut app. But it seems the numbers are still small. And I think that's probably the bigger story. Number 2 on a list of 10, Bitwage announces Bitcoin 401k in collaboration with Gemini. So yeah, Gemini's been running the rounds. Gemini's got a deal going with Samsung for their own blockchain wallet. And now they have this Bitwage announcement. 401k, for people who don't know, is a retirement plan in the US. So it's a pension plan. It's kind of like a self-funded IRA, specifically for US based customers, or US based, or US citizens, basically, residents, whatever. So yeah, I see more and more push this way. I have to tell you guys, I don't really see how crypto assets make a lot of sense to have in a retirement portfolio yet. If you're super young, they usually always have a higher percentage of your value of your portfolio in high risk assets, because you can simply afford to take the risk. If you're 25 and your retirement savings goes from 5K to 0, it's not going to be a huge dent on what your retirement savings look like when you're 65. But if you're 50 or 45 or 55, there's not much space to be risk on. And I don't mean just with crypto. That also means with sectors that are generally considered to be high risk. But hey, it's interesting to see how the direction that a lot of these players, retail players, in the U.S. specifically, are going. Gemini, Coinbase is now really focused on institutional. Gemini is starting to focus more on additional add-on auxiliary services where they can make more money and make it discreetly rather than on trade income. So a lot of these premonitions that I've been saying on here for a long time about having to have multiple revenue streams, about the fact that as regulatory costs rise, exchange becomes, an unprofitable business. I think these guys are starting to see that in mass. Remember that we're a small company. They are a much larger company, but that also means that even though they have larger volumes, they have larger overheads. And, when they see that change from profitability into kind of no profitability into a loss, it's, multiplied by a factor of many, many X's. Number 3 on the list of 10, IMF official says public-private CBDC offers best of both worlds. So that's International Monetary Fund officials saying that public-private central bank issued digital currencies offers best of both worlds. I'm assuming by public-private, he means public as in the actual public access to the CBDC, meaning that it's used as a tender, a legal tender, a currency by regular individuals, and private as in that it's used to settle between central banks, Fed banks, et cetera, institutions. I'm just going to double check, guys, to make sure that's exactly what he's saying, because he may be saying something else. I don't know how he would actually have a public central bank issued currency if you're just, but let's see. He said that an idea of creating a CBDC solely backed by the central bank's reserve and completely under the control of the central bank is outdated. A synthetic private-public partnership, CBDC, on the other hand, is gaining popularity in the digital currency world, which will empower private sectors such as blockchain-backed stablecoins to continue to innovate. He suggested the private sector. Okay, so what he's saying, central bank issued currency, but it should be essentially issued on a public chain and not governed only by the central bank itself. So it's basically a stable coin or a smart token where the reserves are not held by Joe Schmo in the Bahamas. They're actually held by the central bank. I would say that, yes, potentially that could be the best of both worlds. The question is, would a central bank ever allow governance to not be centralized with the central bank? Do we then stop calling them the central bank? Do we call them the decentralized bank? Do we not call them a bank anymore? Are they now just the decentralized issuer of a currency that's pegged to a fiat currency controlled by a central bank? I mean, what happens then? I don't see this as probably being something that the larger central banks will do. There's definitely been smaller Fed or central banks around the world. What is it? Marshall Islands, I think, famously has a CBDC now out that I think is that was produced by a private enterprise. I don't see that happening. He's correct, I think, in saying that it would be best of both worlds. I think at the end of the day, though, what would be great is to have a CBDC that has some of the qualities of a decentralized, let's say, stablecoin, in the sense that they can't just go and print a bunch more out of nowhere, but where they do hold governance, meaning that perhaps there's either, there's no mining. I don't expect there to be mining or proof of stake on a government issued stablecoin. Thus, there probably would simply be a certain amount minted or issued, and then they would have restrictions based on how much more they could issue and the maximum amount they could issue, something like that. So that, I think, is probably more best of both worlds in the real world. Number 4, sorry, on list of 10, crypto data firm Caps. All right, this one I actually like to look into. Usually these Cointelegraph, it's a cool little cartoonish image and about 4 paragraphs worth of nonsense. But let's see. See if they give any indication on what they actually do. Transparent market cap sounds great. Okay. Total market cap is going up while transparent market cap is going down, and vice versa. These divergent market cap tends point to different market discovery forces of transparent versus non-transparent exchanges. Okay, that's a really nice way of saying we have a number we think is right, we have a number we know is wrong, and because they're different, it means that the wrong number is wrong and the right number is also wrong. So not really sure where that gets us. Anyway, not going to read this too long. Don't read. Point is, though, is that look, NASDAQ has made, let's say, technology to try and fight spoofing, front running, and different types of market manipulation. And it's been on the market for 20 years. Does it work? Not really. Does it work in many cases? Yes. Does it work in most? Actually, does it work in most cases? Yes. Does it work in all cases? No. Will it ever work in all cases? No. So until we get, really intelligent machine learning AI that can really drum down and really understand how humans operate, I don't know when that's going to be. But when and if that happens, then maybe we can stop these things. I think most of these crypto data firms, when I see the word crypto or blockchain in front of any industry, like I'm a blockchain lawyer, what that is secretly saying to you is I'm a lawyer that isn't very good at being a lawyer. And thus I had to attach something to my name so I can get business from a specific sector, because I simply don't have any business otherwise. And then you have, so this as a crypto data firm sounds to me that it's probably a data firm that simply need to make some money and put crypto in front of their name. Let's see what happens. I haven't seen anything, and I haven't seen this one specifically. I have to look at it more, let's say, in depth. But I'd have to say that what I've seen from CoinMarketCap and from other players that say that they're going to be able to control or limit fake volume doesn't do anything. But we'll have to see. I'll have a look at Nomics, and somebody tagged me on Telegram at Kevin Murcko over the weekend or something to remind me. Number 5 on our list 10, Engine's new Minecraft plugin lets players spawn blockchain assets. So I saw people talking about this in Telegram. I'm not a gamer. The last time I was excited about gaming was Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers. And I sat at home all day, every day, and played Super Mario Brothers until I beat it and saved the princess. And then, before that, I had, Atari and all these other, Commander? No. Jesus, I'll have to remember all the names of anyway, I had a few Sega CD. You might remember that. I had all these, Nintendo VR, Virtual Boy. Everybody remember Virtual Boy, the first virtual headset? It was literally red lines on a black background. Anyway, so I'm not a big gamer. I know what Minecraft is because I have an 8-year-old daughter and she plays Minecraft. And I look at it and go, when I was a kid, we had video games that looked just like this, and we thought they looked kind of real, which was ridiculous. But at the same time, we always yearned for the time when video games would look better. And now they look so much better, and kids are playing Minecraft, which looks like Super Mario took some acid. But Engine obviously listed with us, which is cool. Definitely some good news for them. They're a gaming company, and they've just made a plugin to plug into one of the games that makes at least, I don't know, got to be in the top 10 of marketable games that brings in money, and allows people to take blockchain assets and actually put them into a virtual world. I think that's pretty cool, even not being a gamer. So hats off to Engine. I don't think there's many places you can buy Engine with Euro, except maybe CoinMetro. I think there might be 1 or 2 or more platforms out there but we're definitely one of the only ones. And I would say we're probably the best. Why not toot your own horn when you can? But definitely cool news from Engine. Number 6, BitClave search engine agrees to pay back 25 million ICO in settlement with the SEC. So another SEC settlement. Yeah, these things are going to keep on coming. I think the SEC, especially, with the Telegram kind of verdict, along with some other verdicts that they've gotten, are starting to get a bit more fired up. They know how to attack these things better. They got some judicial precedent, which is helping them push these things home. Judicial precedent in the US is gold to a prosecutor, and they're going to continue to use it. I don't think the ICO purge is going to continue forever. At some point, they will move to the IEO purge and the exchange purge. And that exchange purge is probably going to happen. It's going to be pretty nasty in terms of, exchanges that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, aren't registered how they're supposed to be registered. It all takes time, but you can definitely see them gearing up. They are gearing up for something, and they're taking little pieces away at a time. They're taking away the foundation, and then they'll start moving to knock over the towers. Number 7 on the list, 10 institutions are buying massive amounts of BTC via Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust. Yeah, I don't know about this term institutions. To me, when I talk to any of my buddies, when we talk about institutional money, hedge funds are never institutional money. And most of the funds buying into Grayscale, I think, are hedge fund money. Plus, defining the term massive, you read, again, stats can be easily kind of skewed from one side to the other. And I've read, these percentage numbers about them buying 30% of all mined Bitcoin, 50% of all mined Ethereum. And that sounds like, wow, fantastic. But when you think about the number of Bitcoin and Ethereum that are actually mined versus the number of Bitcoin and Ethereum that are traded OTC across all order books within the same time period it takes to mine, X number of BTC or Ethereum, you realize that number is minuscule. So it's just a way of getting a nice big percentage to make it seem like they really are the top dog of the top dog, when in reality, the amount that they're trading and or the amount that they're holding is still relatively insignificant, even if they may be one of the biggest public holders. So anyway, Grayscale, I think, Bitcoin for institutions, and everybody saw the Goldman piece. Do we have anything on the Goldman piece? Nothing on the Goldman piece. Jesus, guys, we missed that one. How did we miss that one? So if anybody read this thing on Goldman's saying that the crypto asset class is basically they're not going to put money into it, and they give a list of reasons why. I would say it's not even an asset class. They also go on to talk about securities, which crypto isn't. But in terms of what Goldman says, and I think Goldman made a few good points. Most very large scale institutions aren't into Bitcoin yet, and they may never be. Because once the smaller scale institutions get in, once you get enough liquidity where these order books start to become fused. When I say fused, prime brokerage is a big thing right now in crypto. You have Coinbase trying to get into prime brokerage. You have BitGo trying to get into prime brokerage. Lots of different companies. What is prime brokerage? Prime brokerage is I have a connection to 15, 20 liquidity providers. You only have to connect to me, and you can be serviced by all these liquidity. It's what every other market does. I've talked about it here before. That's where the market was headed. You basically get maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 main liquidity providers in the entire industry, and everybody clears and settles through the same liquidity providers. So what happens at the end of the day is you have a very condensed market, and that condensed market essentially starts to limit volatility. When volatility becomes limited, what is the upside? So I know everybody's going to throw out their theoretical upsides, which is, there's no inflation, and in times of crisis, and it's a hedge against the dollar, and all these great things, which have up to this point proven to not actually be correct, at least not to the point. I mentioned this a few weeks ago. If you came out and said 2-3 months ago, what would happen if, and you literally just ran down the COVID-19 what ifs, everybody that was a Bitcoin maximalist, and even some people that weren't, would be like, Bitcoin would be like $1 million, easy. And somebody would be like, it'd be 5 million, bro. And then somebody would be like, I'm a little more conservative, but it'd be $250,000 at least, just pulling numbers out of thin air, based on whatever horseshit economics theory that they tend to be pulling out of their hat. So I don't know. Grayscale to me isn't such a big deal. Grayscale seems to me like a bunch of lazy guys who are trying to churn. And I don't mean Grayscale themselves. I mean all the hedge funds that are putting money in Grayscale are a bunch of lazy traders who want to see if they can. I don't know how you pronounce this, to be honest. I know the bank, but I never pronounce it. I just call it S Bank. But Esper Bank, let's say Bank, is bidding for 5,000 blockchain ATMs capable of crypto mining. So not actually capable of crypto mining. That's actually they ask them, they want them to have a graphics card, which potentially could enable. They don't even mention crypto mining. It could potentially enable crypto mining, but it could also enable other things. So it's kind of speculation that they put it in there for crypto mining. Yeah, just show they want ATMs that are regular ATMs that can also deal in crypto. There's a lot of talk about Russia trying to launch at some point their own CBDC, especially once China actually pushes it out. I would say within weeks of China pushing it out, Russia does the same thing. And they want to have compatibility. So these will probably go into their major cities. So you'll probably see 3,000 or 3,500 in Moscow area and another 1,500 or so around the St. Petersburg area. Yeah, I don't really see this. I see this more as them gearing up for a potential what if and just want to be ready. Number 9, a list of 10, brace for Bitcoin volatility as large number of futures and options expire. Yeah, I don't know if the market's mature enough for options expiry and future expiry the contracts expiring to actually stir up a lot of volatility, because the underlying retail guys who own most of that Bitcoin would have to understand that the expiration of a future contract above or below current price could actually mean volatility. These things are all always self-fulfilling prophecies. If a future closes way below market value, people assume others will sell, and thus they sell, thus the price goes to match or below the future expiry price. It is always a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's kind of how markets work much of the time. So I don't know if the market's mature enough to really see that. We've seen other things like the Bitcoin halving, for example, which again, using economic theory would have meant a lot, would have meant something, and it didn't mean anything. There was a lead up in price. Why? Self-fulfilling prophecy, and then nothing happened. So we'll have to see. I don't expect large volatility, to be quite honest. Bitcoin number 10 is correctly valued according to JP Morgan's intrinsic value calculation. Well, I guess we can all sit back and smile that the intrinsic value calculator at JP Morgan says that Bitcoin is at the right price. Great. I look, there's a lot of, again, the markets are generally driven by greed, hype, fear, and they become self-fulfilling prophecies, right? Everything you hear in the media all ties into that cycle, right? So somebody says something in the media, it's to probably push forward some type of self-fulfilling prophecy. What potentially could be this one? Well, I'm JP Morgan. I say Bitcoin, the price is right, right? Does that make people buy it? Well, no, because it means it might not go up in value. Does it make people sell it? Maybe if they were hoping for it to go up double in price really quick, and it's not going to. So maybe it allows them to accumulate a bit more. Maybe it allows the hedge funds and the other big institutions that deal through JP Morgan to acquire a bit more without the price going higher, because it's not pushing a bunch of retail guys in saying that the price is too low. But who knows? All these things should always be taken with a grain of salt. Okay, moving on. We're going to do Kevin Explains Crypto, and then we'll move into the live Q&A. So this week on Kevin Explains Crypto, Kevin, that's me, and I explain crypto. The term we have this week is spot market. Spot, S-P-O-T, market. Not like the dog, not like what you get on your shirt when you spill coffee on it, but the spot market. So other terms for the spot market, by the way, in case you come from another market, are the cash market or the physical market. Essentially, the difference between a spot market and its cousin, the futures market, is that a spot market means you pay, you get delivery. So you buy something and you get it immediately. So like in crypto, if you buy a Bitcoin, there's your Bitcoin. Done. It's been physically delivered. When you trade in currencies in the spot market with currencies, you're buying or selling two different currencies, and you have immediate access to that, in a digital version, but you have immediate access to that currency. The contrast to that would be the futures market, where you may never actually receive delivery, or delivery may come at a future date. You're not getting delivery immediately, right? So that's what a spot market is. Again, can also be called the cash market or the physical market. So if you want to hear more about these great Kevin Explains Crypto, check us out on YouTube at CoinMetro. And yeah, have your fill. We got a lot of them. Make sure you thumb up here on this video, by the way, and make sure you thumb us up over at thumb us up. That's like the old guy way of saying like us. I don't know why I called it thumb it up. I'm just getting too old, I guess. But anyway, the good thing about getting old is that you know a lot of stuff and you can do videos about knowing stuff for other people. So that's pretty cool. All right, moving on. Live Q&A. So let's get to that. I think we got one Reddit question, guys. So I'm just going to drill into that real quick. It's a short one. Any update on the ideal payment system? This is from Neo Hodler on Reddit. So no, we've been in discussions with 3 different merchant providers, 2 of which have access to Ideal, but in between the merchant processor and Ideal, there is some other secondary third party. That's a mouthful. Which essentially won't allow crypto. So I know there are companies, Bitpanda being one, I think has access to Ideal, probably through Skrill. We don't onboard through Skrill, mainly because of their fees are higher than what we would like to see. And on the other side, they have lots of limitations based on country of origin, et cetera, which just create a messier user experience. So we're honing in. We're still looking for those localized payment options, and we will find opportunities. But so far, no real update, at least on our the current relationships we have. All right, let's get into Ask Me Anything. I'm scrolling up, guys. Give me a second. When Moon, was this Rahan? Rahan seems new. So yeah, When Moon. Well, I'll send you the plans to make a rocket ship. You go ahead and build it, and then whenever you finish. So it's up to you, Ben. It's up to you. If you mean, when are we going to see prices skyrocket to the moon? I guess. Why does everybody say moon? And like the moon is the closest celestial body to the Earth. Like if you're going really, like you really want to see increase, why wouldn't you go like when Pluto, or when, some other galaxy or something? Why is it moon? It would seem to me that in really, talking about space, the moon is like bullshit. It's like your first baby step. Anyway, I digress. Oh, by the way, just check this out. Done. So yeah, I will. I think that I can answer that question by saying lots of stuff is happening. Lots of new integrations coming on board. Lots of new exciting products. Lots of new exciting ties to our rebranding. You're going to see lots of stuff coming out over the next. Lots of new products and tradable products and primary offerings and secondary offerings and Montenegro in the sandbox and new currencies and new gateways. Tons of stuff, guys. So can only help. Did you change bank providers? We received an email just now. That was a bit of a hiccup. We haven't yet, actually. We were waiting on keys today, but we didn't get them, at least not as of yet. But we will be shortly. And we're making a preemptive change. But I think we're going to decide to roll that preemptive change back until we get this final change in order. So yeah, some people did receive an email just to make sure that if you were sending funds in, that you didn't send to current provider. But there's not much of a reason for us to do that until we get the actual new provider on board. So yeah, that should happen in the next few days. We had a go live date with them June 1st. So that's Monday. We were expecting hopefully to have production keys so that we can get things lit up this week. But there was a few onboarding documents that still need provided. Well, there's always something on the admin side. And I think we've locked all that stuff up. So now we're just waiting, basically. Jeff, you'll subscribe to CM's YouTube channel and mash the F5 button from one UTCN. Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. I booked my Lambo like 3 years ago. Still haven't taken delivery. Why would you want a Lambo, dude? Have you driven one? My father used to sell cars, and one summer was selling at a rather luxurious car sales lot in Stamford, Connecticut. And I drove a Diablo. It was the shittiest driving experience I've ever had in my life. Now, I didn't drive it. I drove this literally around. I mean, I guess it would have been different on a racetrack. It was super hot. You know, the engine in the back, the car got super hot. It was, I mean, you couldn't really feel the performance so much driving on regular streets. There was lots of speed bumps in Stanford in those. I don't know if they're still there, but in those years, there was lots of speed bumps. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so I guess he blames me. Okay, Jeff, it comes up in your YouTube subs first. Okay, is marketing going as well as you'd hoped or not? Well, we're still testing. Testing is in that line. It's going as planned, and we're progressing toward having the copy and the content that works, and that's what we need. So good news there. Any news on BizDev? Jeff Fuel always coming in with the BizDev question. There's always news on BizDev. BizDev is always constant. We're in talks right now with a few different apps as well as companies to provide API, 3 or 4, maybe even, I think, well, 3 or 4 ongoing talks right now in that kind of realm. And general BizDev talk as well. I think Oliver was talking to me about a few things that he's been discussing as well. So yes, there's definitely BizDev talk. Right now, our main focus is kind of pushing this marketing live and getting all the little fine tweaks and turns and pulls and pushes and pokes on the system itself, onboarding and otherwise, so that we can make sure when we do that everything is just as good as it can be. And BizDev will flow in on its own after that. But yes, there are some BizDev things going on. What's happening with the new dashboard? New dashboard is currently getting it's some design elements added. Unfortunately, the mobile version of the dashboard wasn't ready. This thing happens a lot between product and dev, and it's happened to me as well. So no blame to throw around. But you have this, you make assumptions, right? Like, okay, let's build this website, and you assume, well, surely these guys are going to get tablet and mobile version done at the same time. Why wouldn't they? But devs are siloed, right? You need to tell them what you want. You don't say mobile version. They assume you don't want it. So yeah, so mobile version had to get kicked up a notch, and that slowed down a bit, adding in the graphic elements. Though at the same time, it'll save us some work because probably graphical elements added all at once would have caused some issues with a ready works. I believe I had a call today with the guys from the Latvian team, as well as Salvatore, as well as Oliver, on a different topic. But it looks to me like that mobile version and styling, they said it's roughly a week away. Debit cards, virtual IBANs. Yeah, that's what we're waiting on keys for, guys. We're just waiting on live keys. Everything, almost everything is pretty much integrated in terms of, getting ready to roll. We're just waiting on keys to go from a demo to a production environment. Yeah, Brian saying, don't forget to give thumbs up. Thank you guys for that. Appreciate it. Any updates on USD and stablecoins? Yep, have been back and forth with a provider about USD. We're in negotiations right now in terms of commercials. I think we're 1 or 2 emails away from settling, and then potentially in a few weeks we will bring them live. Stable coins, no, nothing new since last week, but having US dollar SWIFT on-ramps will probably reduce the need immediately to bring on a stable coin. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but I think that's probably the case. What is the stupidest thing you've recently heard related to crypto, Brian? I don't even know if I can answer that one, Brian, because I read so many stupid things about crypto that it's kind of like, you know how like you just get accustomed to things. I'll give you an example. So I lived in Chihuahua, Mexico for about 2 years, right? Literally during the height of the drug war. And you would open the newspaper. I would walk to the store every day, buy the newspaper, buy whatever I was going to eat for that day, food wise, cook or whatever, and then walk back home. And I'd usually do that trip twice a day. And in the morning, I'd pick up the paper. And in the newspaper, you'd see like 15 dead, 17 dead, 19 dead, 22 dead, all supposedly drug-related crimes, right? And the first time you see a headline like that, you're like, Jesus Christ, 14 people. That's ridiculous, But by the 80th time, you're like, oh, only 12 today. I guess I'll go to the park. Same thing kind of with coronavirus, right? They just throw these numbers at you, 1.5 million, whatever. By the time you've been seeing this for months, it's like, it's only 6,000 people dead today. It's pretty good. So should we go to the beach? It's pretty much the same thing. So I see so much nonsense that, to be honest, I don't even pay attention anymore for the most part. I would say what really pisses me off is when I see smart people who I know I've met in person or I've had conversations with, and I know they're smart people, and I know they understand kind of better what's going on than what they kind of let on to other people, and they make tweets or the next most or an ETH head or whatever, and I know damn well that they're not, let's say, all that on the other side of they're not all that whatever leftist, rightist. I don't know. From a political standpoint, who would be the left? Who would be the leftist? The Bitcoin guy or the ETH guy, or would they both be? Or who'd be the right winger? Anyway, point being that I don't know off the top of my head. I really don't know. I'd have to think about that one actually. Congrats on reaching 1K plus subscribers, by the way. Thank you, Hamish. Appreciate everybody's help on that one. We definitely couldn't have done that alone. Thumbs up. Thumbs us up. Thumb us up. Yeah. Yeah, that was really, I felt like I was 60 after I said that, thumb us up. I was looking at the thumb up on the page, I just kind of, but yeah, that was terrible. I should buff up on my social media vocabulary. Not sure if you mentioned this already, but what would you think about Goldman Sachs telling their clients not to buy Bitcoin this week? It's Goldman Sachs, man. Goldman Sachs's clientele. Look, anybody in this room have a private bank account with Goldman Sachs? This is a different echelon of clientele, and I don't know if I disagree with them. Do you really want to be putting that old money, that old railroad money into Bitcoin? I mean, really, is that an easy sell? Is telling them from a standpoint, if you're Goldman Sachs with your private banking clients, right? Is it an easier sell to try and tell them it's a great investment, or an easier sell to tell them it's not? Because either way, they make money by selling people into investments. They just sell them into something else. Now, I know you've been hearing about that Bitcoin a lot, but you know what? You don't want to go into Bitcoin because this, or that. Trust me, it's digital. You don't understand it. Whatever. Gold. You know what gold is, right? Of course you do. Put me in gold. They still make the same commission. They don't care. So some of the things they said, of course, they did call Bitcoin a security and crypto as a security, which is wrong. They also called it an asset class, which I know many people do. But how is it? I even saw, actually, stupidest thing I saw in crypto, maybe not the stupidest. I saw a very smart guy on Twitter basically say that, no, you're wrong. Bitcoin is a commodity. Okay. And then still said it's in its own asset class. Well, what is it? Is it a commodity, or is it in its own asset class? Because commodity is an asset class. So I don't think crypto is an asset class. I think crypto is a delivery vehicle. It's an asset delivery vehicle. The blockchain itself, the actual technology, is a way to deliver, settle, move. It's a transit system. It's a protocol by which assets can be traded, settled, etc. Bitcoin, I would say it's probably more similar to some type of, it's more speculative maybe than most commodities, but commodities are still speculative. But you can look, there are so many types of assets that already exist that most people don't even know about. I mean, most people have heard the term derivative now, maybe they've heard of credit default swaps. Maybe they've heard of, whatever, as equities and debt. But there's so many different asset classes. It's not an asset class. So I think it shows to me that the analysts that are doing this probably don't understand what they're analyzing. That's one. Though they do make some fair arguments, right? They do make some fair arguments. Like you don't get you're not getting coupon payments. It's not really a proven hedge. And they're right about that. It's not a proven hedge. And you don't get coupon payments. Yes, there's staking, but staking relies on you giving trust in a third. That it's not a proven hedge. And you don't get coupon payments. Yes, there's staking, but staking relies on you giving trust in a third party that they're actually going to give you the staking rewards based on them loaning money out for trading. If trading were to dry up and there was no volatility, guess what? There'd be much less staking. So, it's Goldman. I wouldn't expect Goldman to say anything else. Do I expect them to change course at some point? Yes, 100%. On Bitcoin, maybe never. On crypto, maybe never. On tokenized or digital assets, absolutely, they will change course. And they will make it, but who cares? It's Goldman, let the old dinosaurs who made a lot of money, when they were all, in their 30s, 600 years ago, continue to do what they know best until eventually they don't exist anymore. Fine. I think Elon is targeting 2025 for the moon. He could be. But yeah, we don't provide, we're a futures moon market. We don't provide delivery, at least not right now, if you buy into the moon. Yeah, crypto folks are humble. That's true, Sean. Is LHV gone now as a banking partner? Nope. Still at LHV. Though, anyway, look, these things are always business decisions for the most part, on both sides, I guess. But LHV is still there. So, if you do a Kevin in space crowdfunding as a marketing gimmick, I'd pitch in. Kevin in space, like to send me to space? Is that the goal? I'll go to space. I'm pretty sure I'll get back. Pretty sure. Why Lambo? Lambo is a great agricultural vehicle company. Yes, they do build tractors. Lambo does. True, Bjorn Mayer. This is Bjorn 2, I guess. But that's true. Lambo tractors. High quality. Very high quality. Won't really get you the same, you're not going to you probably won't pick anybody up at a bar. People may look at you twice, maybe even 3 times when you're driving around on the highway at about 7 kilometers per hour or max. You actually probably get looked at by the wrong people. A bunch of old farmers in overalls eyeing you and taking pictures, whistling and stuff. I don't know. It's a bad picture to have in your head. Can we get an Ignium update? Sure, Ignium update. So Ignium set to go inside of the sandbox. First issuer aligned for July. That issuer will be a Japanese real estate project that'll have a bond token and a equity-like token and a use token, all tied into the product. CoinMetro will be providing secondary market trading on those assets. We expect the issuance to go in the month of July. Right now, work being done between CoinMetro and Ignium to connect the 2 venues to make the user experience as seamless as possible. Might be worth telling everyone about the new generous referral program. Good idea, Hamish. So yeah, referral program was completely redone thanks to a lot of people, but spearheaded, I think, initially maybe by, was it Oliver? Maybe, I think perhaps, but Lina and Morteza from a marketing side, Kert from finance. Even I was in there for a bit. Can't really take credit for anything, but I sat and listened, gave a few comments here or there. But everybody, lots of people in the company played a role in it, but yeah, completely revamped. 40% of all commissions. You got five euros in crypto going to the referrer and the referee. So on both sides, people are getting some money right away, accessible after your first deposit, I believe. So yeah, completely revamped. We already made some noise about it. I think it's even in the Telegram update channel. You guys can take a look. And there will be some additional information released on it over the coming days. But yeah, it's a big one. And we expect it to be, one of the biggest pieces of our overall marketing kind of plan. Will be pushing that affiliate program. So thanks, Hamish. Appreciate that. I would also love to join an algo trading tram. Geez, Bjorn, you're full of fun today. Yeah. Well, we already have 2 of them. So what are you waiting for? Actually, 3, I think, might even be live. No, I think 2 of them are live right now as public trams that both trade on algos. So there you go. Obviously, though, if you have your own algo, or even if you trade manual and you want to jump in and open a tram, go for it, man. We'll be doing a lot of marketing around tram in the coming days, weeks, months here. So definitely, if you're a trader, jump on in. Lots of chances for you to bring in some capital. When increased leverage, Bjorn number 1, 10x. I don't know if we're going to go to 10x, to be honest. I think you might see 5x on majors, 3x still. Look, when it comes down to it, either way, we're going to be limited. In the EU, when it comes to retail traders, we're never going to be able to go over 25-1. And to be honest, I'm not sure in a deliverable product, even though obviously on margin, it's not deliverable, but we're still dealing with, in many cases, deliverable liquidity on the other side. You run into a lot of roadblocks going too high, and I'm not really sure that paints the right picture for us either. Now, I'm the guy that's going to tell you, if you take 1,000-to-1 leverage and you blow out your account, that's your fault. It's not the fault of the broker. It's not the fault of the guy who maybe cold called you and got you. It's your fault. You're an adult. You make decisions, and you make a bad one. Sometimes the best stories in life come from bad decisions, right? The guys who make the most bad decisions in life are the best guys to have at cocktail parties, because the guys who make all the right decisions, they're fucking boring, man. So, sometimes making a bad decision isn't the worst thing you can do in your life. But having said that, yeah, look, I don't see us as a company offering massive leverage. 10x isn't massive, but I don't see us offering lots and lots of leverage, because I think it goes against the mantra of the company in that, look, we're here to provide you with a streamlined service. We want things to be simple. We want to give you things you need, but we don't want to, be pushing people that are unaware of what they're doing into ruin either. So 10x, I don't know. 5x, I think, is definitely in the cards for majors. Probably we will continue 3x for non-majors. The goal would be to collect data and see potentially if there's any reason to go any higher. XCM trading contest, anyone? Sure, why not? What do you have in mind, Bjorn 2? Daniel saying last week or the week before, someone asked what available positions you had at CM, but I don't think you said head of marketing. Aren't you still looking for that one? Well, we have a marketing team now that's pretty solid, right? So we have a head of digital and a head of content, and we have a junior content writer all on staff. And I think Oliver's been playing halfway something in marketing now for a few weeks as well. I think we're kind of getting into almost like a decentralized staffing kind of in CoinMetro. And decentralized not in the manner that we're not all in the same place all the time either, but just from kind of a governance angle. From marketing right now, we have all the tools we need. We have SEO coverage, we have digital coverage, we have content coverage, we have coverage generally on ads and creative, et cetera. So from that standpoint, what are we missing as a head of marketing? If the team can work well together, delegate kind of what would be managerial duties amongst the different departments and amongst the different people in the department, then is there really a need for someone that's just going to sit there and recreate a strategy and step over the heads of the two people that were able to create a strategy amongst themselves? So as we grow, definitely we'll have to expand the marketing team. We'll have to expand every team here. But for now, I think where we're sitting right now is we're actually in a decent place. And, we see something, so I think we may end up seeing something similar in other departments as well, where we kind of delegate those managerial, let's say, managerial tasks around the department, and thus, without having a single kind of quote unquote manager on duty. So yeah, right now, head of marketing, we're not actively hunting. As we grow, though, we definitely will increase the size of the team. So who knows in the future? Of course, to be honest, promotion from within is usually always a better option than having to go externally, especially if you trust the people in your team and they know what they're doing. How to achieve increased leverage in XCM collateral this year? Increased leverage is really just us getting all these new partners, banks, PSPs, all that great stuff, all in line, onboarded, and adding into the liquidity pool, and more clients adding in the liquidity pool. And the same thing, XCM collateral is all about liquidity. More clients, more liquidity in the book makes it that much more easier for us to flip the switch. When CM gets individual IBANs, would you recommend using CoinMetro as a Freelancer Wallet, switching from Skrill, PayPal, TransferWise, as you have way better fees? Yeah, I would. Let me refer. I would. In the first instance, while you will have your own IBAN, it'll be limited to moving funds from accounts in your name from accounts in your name to accounts in your name. So it'll be limited only because we'll be in the process of applying for agent licensing so that we can get an EMI agent license, this will then allow us to allow third-party transfers, which would then open it up you the ability to receive funds on that IBAN from third parties. Of course, there'll be some KYC requirements that'll flow in there. We might ask you what you plan to do. We'll ask you what you plan to do with that wallet. You say, oh, I'm a freelancer, or I may receive payments from this website or that website. And we say, okay, great. So in first instance, that probably won't be something you'll be able to do, but it's where we're headed. Bitcoin would definitely be on the right side, at least from a fiscal point of view. Yeah, I would agree with that. What can we expect to release in the next, is that half weeks or 1 to 2 weeks? So I would say, Jesus, there's a lot of things. So I'm hoping we see GBP pop up, both pairs and deposit functionality and withdrawal functionality, as well as dashboard released. And yeah, I would say those are things in the next 1 to 2 weeks, I think. To all, is stream jumpy? Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I can't, nothing I can do on my side. Yeah, CZ is at it again for sure. What have you been spending most of your time on these days? Me? Regulatory compliance and talking with different financial stuff. So talking with banks, payment service providers, trying to get USD coverage, setting up all that pound coverage, finding additional euro coverage, different credit card gateways so that we can get a little better acceptance rate on credit cards, all that good stuff. That's been what I've been focused on the past probably 3-4 weeks. When ADA? That's a product guy question. You have to ask Oliver that in Telegram. Ping him. Ask him about ADA. See what he says. What about the derivatives 50x units you have planned? Any derivatives trading in the pipeline? Yeah, that's a completely different product. Definitely not margin. We're then talking about futures, and that requires specific licensing. The place we would probably go for licensing for that would be the UK. And it's just because obviously that requires minimum capital, and for us to set something up in the UK, it's not going to be within the immediate future. It's definitely still something that I would like to get done. But yes, since there's now been some precedent set that's really, we can't essentially offer that service right now without additional licensing. So base hunting is algo trading. Yes, I know. Well, actually base hunting may actually be manual. You have a good point there, Bjorn, too. But I have a sneaking suspicion I know who Bjorn 2 is, but I'm going to keep that to myself. But definitely Alicoin is algo based. Base hunting, good. Actually, I think that's Daniel P. Daniel P can probably, yep, just a guy with a strategy. There you go. Trading volume is down to low 5 digits the last few days. Any particular reason? I'm sure there may or may not be a reason, some type of cosmic reason. I don't know. But no, I haven't really compared that to volumes across other exchanges, see if there's been any percentage drops as well. I would say it's been nice out across most of the world. You're getting into kind of the end of school years and stuff, people getting outside. I think people are distracted by the fact that they've been in the house for so long. So I think it's probably normal. And if we haven't seen it at other exchanges and even on the FX side, I can tell you FXPig, there's been a drop in volume as well over the past like 10 days or so. So I think it's just people trying to get some fresh air. I lost a moped because I sneezed once. One of those hold your hand at the moped for as long as you can competitions. Yeah, one of those. Hold XCM as long as possible competition. Well, that's an awesome competition. You should have to hold a minimum sum though. Obviously, we got to make it interesting. What's holding you back from using XM for collateral and sham, just like for 5-to-1 leverage? Well, collateral and tram is simply the volatility of XCM. Well, right now XCM really is almost acting like a stable coin, I guess, for the past couple of weeks. But because the book isn't as healthy as I would like it to be, especially if we start to see lots and lots of collateral being used, and then maybe some of that collateral being pulled out of an active book, which makes the book thinner. And then someone coming in and taking advantage of that and moving XCM price, which drastically affects the amount of collateral, which could cause stop outs, et cetera, across the margin platform. So it's really just about making sure that the liquidity is healthier. That's it. 5-to-1 leverage is simply about making sure we just have enough liquidity on our side to be able to cover that amount of credit. Any updates for funding? No, not necessarily. There's a lot of different funnels out there, but no specific updates. You're welcome, Stephen. Would be amazing if you could implement some token that allows to short Bitcoin without using margin. Yeah, I've seen tokens like that offered elsewhere, leverage tokens, I think they were called. And then they weren't offered anymore. They got rid of them. That is a derivative for sure. And I would say probably would need a license. And that might be why they're no longer tradable. I don't remember what I think it might have been. Help me out here, guys. It was the guys whose ICO token was paying dividends. Asian Exchange. Jesus, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But anyway, they had these leverage tokens, and yeah, definitely I think requires a license. It's definitely a financial instrument, at least according to the EU. Reason is that there is no movement in the market, really, nothing much volatility to trade on. Yeah, that's true, Daniel. I'm just saying there's people need a reason to trade when they don't have one. Well, they don't, which could be good or bad depending on your position. Can you make XCM reach 50 euros ASAP, Bjorn? I will put that into my official old guy to-do list right here on this. This is called a notebook or paper notebook for anybody that doesn't know what this is. So let me just write this down. Hold on. Make XCM reach 50 euro. Okay. All right. So it's there. It's there. Terrible handwriting. So yeah, trust me, we are aligned on goals. How's that? Yeah, Binance had one doesn't really mean anything. And some guy in Switzerland, yeah, probably with an exemption in Switzerland, which again is kind of meaningless to us. Anyway, at the end of the day, the mechanics are the same. I think if our margin platform is user-friendly enough, then what's the difference? And yeah, I do remember. I know KuCoin. KuCoin were the guys that had I think the leverage tokens, and now got rid of all of them. I don't know about Binance as being broken, but definitely that wouldn't surprise me. All right, guys. So we are just at the top of the hour. A whole bunch of people had to be compensated because they got liquidated. Yeah. All right, guys. Appreciate your time this week. Remember, new affiliate programs out. It's awesome. Use it. Make some money. Get your clients some money. Take advantage of that free crypto. And yeah, dashboards are coming. Currencies are coming. Debit cards are coming. IBANs are coming. USD is coming. We got lots of stuff coming down the pipe. Make sure that you like this video if you haven't. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tag me on Twitter or Telegram at Kevin Murcko. And I'll answer any questions you guys may have. Thanks again for being here. I'll see you guys next week. I'll see you on the weekend in Telegram. Like I said, if you have a question, tag me. We wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. And see you guys next week. Cheers.